it only takes about 20 images of a child to actually create a deep fake. And on average, they say that parents upload 63 images per month of their children.
You may have seen this viral Irish ad warning about the dangers of posting pictures and videos of children online. Today, I'm here to speak with the Data Protection Commission, the organisation behind the Pause Before You Post campaign. When it comes to online data, loads of people think that that just means our banking information, but it's not only that. Can you explain what exactly is a person's online data?
Yeah, you're right. Quite often, actually, when I'm out speaking at events, that is the view that people may have. I suppose it's good for us to talk about what the definition of personal data actually is. And personal data, in the context of data protection law, is any data that identifies you or can identify you, even when you accumulate a lot of data and you put it all together, and it may identify an individual. So, more commonly we think of your name, your address, your date of birth, PPS number, things like that. But there's also things such as images, videos, data of that nature, and it's the very same in the online world. So I'm talking about just in general, but in the online world, personal data is the same stuff. Except I suppose what happens in the online scenario is that the uploading of information and personal data, whether we're doing it about ourselves or in the context of the ads, the Sharenting campaign that we've just done in relation to children, what you're actually doing is you're creating a digital profile and a digital identity of somebody online.
So the ad warns against the dangers of this, and one scary reason to not upload pictures of your children or videos of your children online are deep fakes. For people who don't know what a deep fake is, how would you describe it?
I kind of describe it as they're like AI generated images. So you might have an image that you would post, and we've probably, most of your followers, no doubt, will have seen them. You'll see an image of me that is taken from something that I may have already posted myself, and they can turn it into something that looks like me speaking, a video, my political beliefs, my whatever you want it to be, and it's created in such a way that they look incredibly real. It looks like me online, and it looks like I'm speaking, and it's what I'm saying. And in terms of children, unfortunately, what we see deepfake used quite regularly on is to do with sexual images of children, which is a real concern. And actually, I was looking at some cybersecurity experts have reported recently that it only takes about 20 images of a child to actually create a deep fake. And on average, they say that parents upload 63 images per month of their children. In relation to the ad, it's all about raising awareness. One of the things that I and my colleagues here at the DPC, when we were doing this ad, one of the things we were very conscious of is we didn't want to scaremonger people. Yeah. We want to raise awareness. Now, I do know that there are elements of the campaign have gone very close to the line, but I think it needed to have the viral impact that it's had.
Yeah, and it's definitely had a viral impact. There's so many parents, people talking about this, saying, wow, this is really the wake-up call that a lot of people need. And absolutely. Another really scary reason to pull back, pause before you post, was image metadata and GPS data. I've never heard about this before. Until I read about this on your website. Can you explain what this is a little bit more?
When we post photographs online, the metadata that can quite often have, say, the location in which the photograph was taken is data that's behind the photograph. So it may not necessarily appear on the photograph itself, but it is in the background, and it is information that can be generated. And it can, as I say, talk about location, etc., of where a photograph was taken. So one of the things that I would say to anybody out there who is thinking of posting photographs of their children is to turn off their location services.
And when you say turn off the location services, do you mean on someone's phone when they have the location on? Exactly,
the location settings, yeah.
And is it easy to just find this information, or do you need to, is it kind of predators go through kind of specialized, or kind of they go through another method to get this information, or can anyone just get metadata or GPS?
People can get metadata. Yeah, like I would say maybe a majority of the people who follow you, or who, the general public, wouldn't necessarily know, like my parents or my friends probably wouldn't know how to go about it. But that said, there are lots of people out there who do know how to get this data. But also think beyond just that, you know, think of if I'm taking a photograph of my son and I am posting it online and I've knocked off the location services, but is there anything in that photograph that actually already tells me where or tells the general public where the photograph was taken? So for example, and again, these are very innocently taken photographs 99 times out of 100, where a parent might want to post a photograph of the child and might do it outside the house. And you see the number of the door and it's evident where you are. So, you know, this is something I'd say, in particular when we're posting photographs about our children, something to be very, very, very mindful of. Again, we're not saying to parents, don't post photographs of your children or images of your children. That's not what we're saying. We are saying just pause before you do post photographs and consider what's in the photograph.
Up until now, most people created their own digital footprint. For example, I started posting online when I was around 12 or 13, and so my digital footprint is created by me.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there are parents who are creating a digital footprint for their children, and the child doesn't even have their own social media account, and it's without the child's consent. For parents or adults who say, oh, what's the big deal? It's grand. Why is this bad for children?
What I would say to parents is that you are, as you say, Ash, you are creating a digital profile for somebody else. Yeah. And in circumstances, you use the word consent. So one of the first things I'd say is, can you have a conversation with your child if you are going to be uploading, if you do plan on uploading images? So if your child is of an age that you can have that conversation, have the conversation with your child and say you're thinking, even if the child doesn't have, as you say, a social media account, but you're going to be putting photographs or images or information in any way up of your child, have that conversation with your child and make sure your child is happy for it to happen. Because remember, it's your child's personal data. So if your child can actually provide you with their consent and can say that they're happy for it to go up, that's one thing that I would consider. If your child has not reached the age, and again, parents, and I'm a parent myself, parents, you know, the vast majority of the time, when we're putting photographs, if you're putting photographs up of your child, it's of milestones that have happened. You're putting them up for good reasons in your mind, and therefore we're putting photographs of babies, of young children who are not of an age that they can have that conversation about consent. But I suppose the things to think about is, okay, if you want to post that photograph of your child when your child was throwing a tantrum on the street, and we might think, you know, it's funny and you want to put it up, well, how might the child think when the child is 13 or 14 years of age and they go to secondary school and that video is still up there and they're being teased by friends, etc. And then the second angle I would say is just, you know, think to yourself when you're posting information about your child. One of the things and one of the real strong tips that I would give is have a look at who your circle, your friend circle or your contact list circle is that are actually going to get to see this image, video, whatever it might be, and you know, review who you are actually posting these images for, because at the end of the day, the way I would think about it as a parent is when I'm putting a photograph online, if I was putting a photograph online of my child, when I'm thinking about who's going to view that photograph, I'd ask myself the question, is everybody on that list that's going to view that photograph, would I be happy to actually walk out and hand them a copy of a photograph of my child? Because that's basically what we do.
Wow. That's really like a different way to think about it.
Yeah.
Look at the situation.
Yeah. And I think, Ash, I think that's why this campaign has resonated with people so much. People now see absolutely there are risks associated that we don't think about. And, you know, we can't really necessarily expect people, you wouldn't expect people to think about these things necessarily, but that's the purpose of us as a regulator. Part of our role is to raise awareness.
Many people are very grateful for this ad. Thank you so much for creating an ad to warn parents about the dangers of sharenting. Is this campaign currently achieving everything that you wanted it to achieve?
The purpose of the campaign was to raise awareness. You know, there's over 100 million views of this ad worldwide. We've had interest from Australia, from all over Europe, from Ireland. So it's absolutely resonated. Oh, I think I said to you earlier on, we made it when we got onto ITV's Loose Women, because they had the panel discussed it there for 10 minutes. This is about conversation. This is about kind of improving and protecting our children in a better way. There's so many parents out there who have made the comment that this is actually going to make them think in a different way and behave in a different way when it comes to sharing information.